Hey everyone, this is the Game Hunter. The Game Hunter to bring you a anime videos. Well, one of the anime videos I have promised you for so long. I've actually promised anime videos, period, for quite a while now. I think it's been a year since I promised it. I haven't yet to bring out one for you. So here we go again. Here goes my anime run. This is the anime review for an anime called Date A Live. I'm now reviewing season one because there's a season two and I haven't watched it yet. Um, there's supposed to be a season two. Hopefully, it gets released over here. But we're dealing with season one. Now, you're probably wondering what in the world Data Live's about. Data Live's a harem. Data Live is typically just this is world Earth, and a long time ago, at the very beginning of this the series before the series started, a disaster happened. Well, not a disaster. The Earth suffered a huge, massive hit, and I think it was around China. I swear it must have been around China from the looks of it. Um, a laser kind of hit the Earth and managed to make a huge like hole or whatever you want to call it. It made a huge noise. The government, the military at the time, was trying to notice this. All I remember from it is this is pretty much how it started, and this little disaster got called a space quake. Um, a natural disaster that seems to happen a lot within the current anime. In the very first episode, you get a chance to see a spatial quake for your own for the first time. Um, and pretty much the world doesn't know how to deal with this, but there is two factions within this world that know about these spatial quakes and know what's causing them. Um, and this is pretty much where the main character Shido Itsuka comes into play, and his little sister Katori Itsuka, I think how you pronounce her name. Um, these two are pretty much the main characters of the series. They're actually adopted brother and adopted sister. I had to put this out here right now because something happens later on dealing with those two that I think a lot of people would really hate. Um, but pretty much the idea is, like I said at the very beginning of this video, kiss the girls, save the world, or actually kiss the girls, save the world. The idea behind this is spatial quakes are caused by these entities called spirits. These spirits happen to be female. I think you know where I'm going with this. The main character has an affinity um, for sealing away powers of said spirits. In order for this to happen, he has to go on a date with them, make them fall in love, kiss them, and he seals their powers away. It goes into him and seals their powers away, turning them into human. So they're able to live in this world without causing any more damage. You're probably wondering, what the? I don't worry, guys. It's a pretty good show. It's pretty. I'm not huge into harems. Particularly, I find them boring. This one was kind of funny, more funny than I expected to be. I think a lot of it caught my eye as the violence that happens, because there are fight scenes within this show. Um, Now you're probably wondering the characters you're gonna be messing with. You're gonna be messing with Shido Itsuka, the main male. You got then you got his harem, his sister Katori Itsuka. Yes, his sister, his adopted sister, mind you, adopted sister, is in his harem. Um, his the first girl he actually puts into his harem, Toka. She's the first spirit he actually encounters. And the first spirit who actually make he who how he who first spirit who he makes fall in love with him. Um, and a little bit more is actually kind of hinted at is like Toka kind of feels a little bit more strongly about about Shido than I guess Shido realizes. Um, there's a lot. I think there's a huge Toka bias, and mind you, there's a lot more episodes dedicated. Well, there are a lot of episodes that are dedicated to her, but also a lot of episodes that are not dedicated to her. And by that I mean there are episodes that focus directly on her, which makes sense. But you got these episodes that aren't dedicated to her, in which she still plays an interesting and important, well, not important, but she's still there, and she is still kind of like important in a sense, or they play more to her character. Um, Toka is what you would say. She's because she doesn't know much about this world. She doesn't know much about Earth. Um, Mind you, by the way, she's the only spirit so far within season one of all entirety season one who doesn't know anything about Earth. She just comes to the Earth at the very beginning of the series. She has not experienced anything on Earth. She's the only spirit like this was season 1, and I'm actually quite interested why that's the case. Um, but whatever. Toka, she's a typical girl. She likes things that are pretty. She wants to get the attention. She doesn't understand a lot about Earth's customs, so things such as being patted on the head are really important to her. Um, she also acts like a typical girl in a sense that there's actually a funny scene dealing with Shido in his second encounter with a spirit, because Shido kisses Toka for the first time and takes her powers away, and this is the starting of the series, in which this is what he's going to be doing for the majority of the series, kissing girls to take away their powers to allow them to live on the Earth. Um, Toka doesn't really understand this. You see, she doesn't like the fact that Shido's kissing other girls. um, she gets really jealous. And this is really bad because even though Shido ends up turning them human, they can still take their powers back. You see, what happens is they gotta stay on a wavelength, an emotional wavelength that's stable. They gotta be stable for them to be able to live their lives without causing any damage. If they become extremely upset or extremely pissed, they will take their powers back, and this will happen. This will happen without Shido's will. He won't be able to stop this. They'll take their powers back because they're unstable. Um, I read something else later on that becomes even more important to stability within spirits. But yes, they can take their powers back. So Toka has these issues, these small little things like jealousy, and I think a lot of people find it annoying. I don't know. I find it kind of adorable, to be completely honest, because she's getting mad, but she doesn't really understand, what Shido's doing. She understands she got saved by Shido, but she feels like Shido belongs to her, I guess, is what the basic idea of her. Shido belongs to her. She doesn't really. She wants to help the other spirits because she understands what it's like to be in this world and not have anybody who cares about them. But she also doesn't like the fact that Shido kisses these other girls. And actually, Toka actually ends up directly saying this to him in the last episode of season 1. I wish you wouldn't kiss other girls. But that's Toka in a nutshell. Jealous, just naive, naive girl in this world she doesn't know anything about it. So she's learning, and she's got a place to stay and stuff like that. I mean, things happen. I'm not gonna reveal too much. I want you guys to watch this. It's being dubbed by Funimation, by the way. So anybody who's a huge fan of Funimation, you probably should watch this. Now you got the second girl he actually encounters in his harem. You got Yoshino and Yoshinan. This is the Lolly character. She's a little girl. Well, she looks like a little girl. I'm not sure what in the world, how old these girls actually are, because they're spirits. They're not technically human. He actually encounters her, ironically, he actually encounters her first within the cemetery while it's raining. And she doesn't say anything to him. She actually gets kind of scared and runs away. He actually encounters her officially for the first time when she comes down to the Earth from a spatial quake. She actually comes back to the Earth. And Yoshinan is this little rabbit character that's on her arm. She's kind of unique in the sense that she's actually come to the Earth before, but when she first came, she's a spirit that's not really violent. She doesn't like fighting. She doesn't like making people feel bad. Her idea is like if she doesn't like being hurt, then no one else was like being hurt. So she doesn't like fighting, but she will fight to protect herself. Don't get it wrong. She will protect herself. She will freaking kill you. Well, protect herself, injure you, whatever. She will protect herself. So, yeah, she's not going to be defenseless. She's going to protect herself. And it's like, she's got she's not really, and my problem with her, she's not really used that much. She's there, but she's not really used that much. You see her and she's there, so you can't forget about her. She's only had a couple of lines. On top of that, another thing about Yoshino, which is probably kind of hard to write for her, is the fact that she's so shy. She actually speaks through her rabbit puppet. She actually speaks to this thing, and this rabbit's got its own personality of its own. It's very snarky. It's the complete opposite of her. It says what it's on its mind. It's completely it's just a joker. It's kind of hilarious. I kind of like that puppet. It's pretty funny. She uses it as a way to deal with her own anxiety. It's her way of being able to adapt. She adapted using this rabbit puppet. And it's called Yoshinan. It's pretty funny. These guys, this character or characters is pretty cool. She pretty much, as you can tell, he kisses her and says her takes her powers away. How he does it is kind of weird. What happens is that he actually ends up meeting her for the second time that she comes to the Earth. And what happens is she ends up losing her puppet and runs away after because Toka actually because Shido was about to kiss her. Well, actually, he actually ended up kissing her, but since it wasn't consensual or she didn't have any feelings towards Shido at the time, he wasn't able to take away her powers. As you probably can notice by this point, kissing a girl doesn't necessarily mean he's going to take her powers away. She needs to meet certain qualifications for the power transfer to actually happen. Hex ended up kissing her accidentally by falling on her, and her lips meet. And what happens is Toka ends up walking in on this, and this is the first example of how pretty much the spirit can become unstable. She ends up getting really kind of mad. Actually, not mad, upset. And to make things worse, Yoshinan, the rabbit, since this is the complete opposite of Yoshino, the spirit's personality, ends up making a big deal about this and tries to make Toka upset. And almost succeeds, but and this is another thing about Toka, in which she's not the main focus, yet she still has a focus. This is the start of her having to deal with her new emotions. She's not used to dealing with these emotions she's starting to feel because she's starting to feel jealousy. She doesn't understand these emotions. She knows that Shido's trying to do these things to save other spirits, but she can't get over her jealousy. So she's got to deal with her emotions at this point. Like I said, I really kind of wish that they didn't focus on Toka so much, but they do. There's just plenty. At the end of this entire process, they end up getting her puppet back. Yoshino feels safe with Shido because Shido makes a promise saying that 1 minute, folks. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was talking about Yoshino. But I forgot. I lost track with something happened at the door. But the idea is Toka's got to deal with these emotions now, and this is the first of the many instances we're probably gonna see of Toka's emotions. Actually, we don't really see any more. We had maybe 1 or 2 episodes dealing with Toka dealing with her new emotions, but we don't see much more of those emotions ever again. It's really weird. Then she changes over trying to help Shido out and stuff like that. Then we got 2 more spirits within season 1 that we gotta deal with. Of the harem of the girls that we were actually presented, we get a new girl, a psychotic girl, a girl in which a lot of people seem to really love, and I will say this much, yeah, I have to agree, she's pretty cool. Her name is Kurumi. Now this is a different spirit entirely. She's been on Earth for I don't know how long. And she's done a lot of things. She's actually probably one of the more dangerous spirits of them all. She's actually killed over 100 and something people. Yeah, you heard me right. She killed over 100 something people. She is psychotic. But we don't really know why she's on Earth. All we really know is that her original intention is to get the Shido, because by this point she knows about Shido. She probably knows about Shido. She knows about what's going on. She knows about everything. She knows about Shido's. Has 2 spirits within his body right now. He has 2 spirit powers. She actually intends to eat Shido to take his powers, to take the spirit powers that he has. For what purpose? We do not know. At this point, I kind of know because I kind of went ahead, spoiled myself a little bit. I know what she intends to do, what her intention is. But we got this girl called Kurumi, and then we get set into a stream of episodes in which we get this is near the end too. I think it starts at episode 10, and then we get a chance to deal with we get another spirit to deal with, and it's in the form of actually there's another girl I completely forgot to mention. She's not a spirit though, but she is kind of like in Shido's harem. Um, this girl called Origami. She actually is one of the chicks that actually ends up being part of the cast, and she's important because she's probably one of the strongest female fighters on the show, next to Toka. Um, she's actually part of a group called the AST. These are people that actually deal with spirits, and they actually kill them. They actually go out there and kill spirits. They're pretty much the first line of defense for anything. But then you get the group that Shido is a part of called Ratatoskr, and they're the second line of defense. And actually, they're the more prominent ones that deal with a lot of things. You see, they want to deal with spirit. Ratatoskr wants to deal with spirits, and commonly they want to help them adjust to life on Earth. So Shido is pretty much the line of defense, that the more intimate approach. Shido actually ends up being the one that deals with a lot of spirits, and he saves them. He's actually the one that ends up doing a lot of things, and he takes a lot of beatings from it all too. Um, he's done a lot of things with season one so far. He's pretty cool. But back to Origami, she actually kind of spoiled myself on something about her too. But it's later on in season two. Origami, she is a more reserved character. She doesn't she doesn't really show her emotions too much. She has a couple of scenes where her emotions are actually seen, but she's not really. She's straight faced. She lets you know what's going on. She actually lets Shido know in the first episode, I think, that she has a crush on him, and they're gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend. And this comes to complete shock to about every guy in the school because everybody likes Origami. They think she's cute. The girls, on the other hand, don't really have an issue with her. They don't know what's going on with her. But she lets them know on the spot that they're going out. Shield he doesn't have a response to this. He does not. He actually for the majority of the part, the entire series season one goes on with the fact that they're going out indirectly. It's like it's almost to the point where you kind of forget about Origami and they were actually going out. And then you got episodes where she shows up and then she brings up the fact that they're going out, and it's like it's pretty funny because like I tend to forget that she was even in the show or they're going out, and then you bring up those episodes in which they do have some like they actually are going there's actually an episode where they actually go on a date. It's pretty funny. It's like, oh yeah, they are going there, aren't they? But you got the girls like Kurumi, who have no shame and actually have an interest in Shido for different reasons. But Kurumi, she's a psychotic girl. She pretty much wants to eat Shido, but things happen and she doesn't get a chance to. The one thing that actually happens is we get introduced to the last girl of the harem, a girl that I think a lot of us were hoping she wasn't going to become a part of. You heard me right, folks. His adoptive younger sister, Katori, becomes the last girl getting introduced in his harem for season one. A lot of you are probably saying, incest! Incest! Calm down. Calm down. Please, for the love of God, calm down. I hate incest as much as anybody else. I have a sister of my own, so it really hits home to me, and I really hate it. But there actually are certain types of incest that didn't a lot of people don't seem to recognize. The inbreeding one, which is the one I hate the most. But then you got the type of incest that isn't really incest, because Katori and Shido aren't really related. They aren't they're not blood related. Shido and Katori are actually adopted. Katori's family adopted Shido into their family. It's very weird. She actually is a spirit too, but she's actually the first instance of a spirit in which wasn't that originally a spirit to begin with. Katori was actually human. She became a spirit in a point in time in which Shido and Katori can't remember. I'm not gonna say any more than that. You have to watch the series to find out. There's actually a point in time in which they can't remember. I will say this much: they get their memory back by the end of the series. But yeah, that's pretty much about it about Katori. she's actually the main reason why Shido's even involved with this incident in the first place. Because actually, Shido actually didn't know about this side of Katori. He didn't know she was a commander of an elite squad of people. By the way, the people that she's actually leading are all perverts. What? You didn't hear me right? I'll say it again. They're perverts. Oh, oh god. I'm sorry. I had to. I had to at least once. But yeah, they're all perverts. Especially the second in command that is really close to Katori. It's very weird. But yeah, they're pretty much perverts in general. It's because of their pervertedness that helps them deal with these girls. Because they deal with this entire scenario like a dating sim, where actually, Shido doesn't choose what he's gonna say to the girl. Potato Skirt chooses for him. It's very weird, and actually, the entire world chooses for him without even knowing that they're choosing for him. They're actually playing a dating sim game in which the responses are popped up, and they choose. And whatever the most chosen response is what Shido tells the girl. So you get some really funny results from a lot of these instances. It's pretty funny the type of responses you kind of get from like saying to a girl like from a dating sim, like depending on the personality, it all like the response you give, if it doesn't fit the personality of the girl, they'll reject it, and the rejections are pretty funny. Um, but yeah, I mean the entire show's pretty funny. I mean, yeah, it has its issues in terms of like some girls don't get enough attention, some because the show's kind of a little bit biased. Uh, but Shio's a cool character. Not much is actually revealed about Shido or Kotor. Even from the show, I mean, we know that pretty much Shido's actually had Kotori's abilities because at the very beginning of the series, Kotoro had already been sealed. But we weren't really aware of this at the very beginning of the series. We weren't aware of this. We just thought that Shido had some kind of innate ability to heal really fast. It's actually due to his sister's spirit powers that he's able to heal so fast. So technically speaking, by the end of season 1, he's actually sealed at least 3 power. He's sealed at least 3 spirit powers. Yeah, he doesn't actually seal Kurumi's away, and I don't think he will either. Actually, because he'll never get a chance to get this girl psychotic. But yeah, he actually seals 3 powers away. He seals 3 spirit powers away. So it's a 3 out of 4 that he has at this point. But the show's pretty good. It's I guess it's your basic harem. From the harems that I've heard so much about. It's a definitely good show. I would kind of give this thing an 8 out of 10. Because like I said, I can't really judge this harem because I don't watch harems normally. So the closest I could give a show like this is an 8 out of 10. I would give it a 9 out of 10, but the show hasn't ended yet. This is for the anime dub. It hasn't ended yet. So I guess if we do get season 2, I'll be doing a review of season 2 and doing an overall overview of the series once season 2 airs and ends. So I guess I'll see you guys next time for our next anime review. This is the Game Hunter, and I'm signing out.